ask you this. Do you feel, okay, so you personally, when you were going back, talking about like, you know, because of the law, because of being prosecuted, that's the reason why is the law the only thing that stops you from quote unquote hitting and spitting and becoming violent with someone?
No.
Wait a minute. Why don't you do that? Like, why, right now we're talking.
Why don't I do what?
Hypothetically here, why aren't you hitting and spitting and trying to beat me up right now?
Well, there's various reasons. One, because I love Jesus Christ. He said to love my...
But don't say the law. This is what I want to hear.
No, I know.
Okay.
I believe there is a standard of justice that supersedes and transcends all standards of justice and right and wrong that we create for ourselves. One, because Jesus Christ, who I serve and follow, has commanded me to love my neighbor as myself and to love him with all of my strength, in whose image you are created. You are created in God's image, and you are my neighbor. But we love you regardless.
Man. That's cool.
Jesus Christ died for complete strangers who hated him because he loved him. The love of Christ has been poured in my heart, and because of that, I can love you even though I don't know you, even though you oppose me, even though you cuss at me, even though you might... No, I mean, you've cussed. I'm just saying, like, even if you did, I would still love you. And so, number one, first and foremost, I don't beat you up because I want to follow Jesus Christ and follow his example, and where he didn't come and destroy his enemies, he actually came and died for them. He gave himself for them. So I'm willing to stand here and take abuse, be violated violently if necessary, to display love to you. Secondly, as a citizen of the world in the United States and, you know, wherever I live, Oklahoma, I also don't want to violate the laws because Jesus Christ has said that we should obey the laws. That's why as abolitionists, as followers of Christ, we wouldn't do something stupid like, that's why we don't violate that law, because Christ has told us to obey the laws. It says he has established government and authority for our protection so that they would reward the good and punish the evil. Okay, so that's not our tactic or our strategy to shut clinics down or vandalize them or anything like that.
Wait a minute, can I?
Sure.
I've read and I've heard you all say that one day you want this to be an abolitionist museum. So that would mean you want to shut down the clinic.
But we want it to be shut down by the government establishing justice for the people.
Okay. Well, hold on, even more than that. We want it to be shut down because our culture now views the killing of innocent unborn children the same way it all views African slavery now. We look back and we say that was evil, that was wicked, so there are no need for auction blocks anymore. Right. It's not because people went up and like got an axe and chopped the auction block down. It's because our society no longer wants them. Nobody's buying slaves. I'm not saying sex trafficking doesn't happen, don't get me wrong, but there's not an auction block in the middle of the town square for sex trafficked slaves because there's no demand for that, and our society repudiates that. And so I don't want to shut this clinic down by blowing it up or by passing some law saying you don't have wide enough hallways, because that's not a reflection. Well, that's fine. That's not a reflection of our culture's morality and their obedience to the Creator who made all of us.
So your main thing is your religion.
Our main thing is to transform culture with the truth of Jesus Christ, so that these places are no longer necessary.
You're not hitting me or you're being violent towards me.
Sure.
Okay, now.
And we don't want
the reason why I'm not doing that, first of all, I don't think it's necessary. I do believe behavior breeds behavior. Okay, one. Two, I don't believe in your God. Okay, so there's like, I have my own quote unquote moral compass. I am a quote unquote good person, whether you believe it or not, because I support abortion. But there is no puppet master controlling me saying, don't hit them or don't spit on them or don't do this. Don't do. I'm not saying. Hold on, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're saying that your what guides you is your religion, your faith. Is that not what you said?
Well,
why you're not being violent? Why you're not a violent person?
Well,
not the law. This is what I'm getting at. Okay.
Well, let me hold on. Let me go a little bit further on that. Just to clarify, I want you to know you're misunderstanding that.
No, I didn't.
I want to clarify real quick one thing, and then I want you to continue. Okay. I have the special revelation of God given to me in His Word and displayed in His Son, and His actions and His words are recorded in the Bible. Okay. So I know the specially revealed revelation of God. Thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. But God has also made us in His image. Right. He has given us a knowledge. Romans 1 says that our conscience bears witness when we violate the law of God that He has stamped upon our hearts. The reason, ma'am, that you don't attack me right now is because you also have that same knowledge of God's law.
Oh, no.
You do. Yes, you do. You do. The reason you said you have a moral compass is because you are made in His image, and He has stamped His law upon your heart, and you know right from wrong. And that's why we can both agree that it's universally wrong to rape children, because we know that it's wrong to harm other people.
Right.
Okay? Because it's been stamped on our conscience. It is too. It is.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No, that's not why.
Let me hear why you think why.
Raped, okay?
So sorry to hear that.
Sounds like
serious.
I was raped, and I know where you all are going to get for, oh, that's what brought you. No,
I didn't say that.
Let me finish.
Lots of Muslim women have been.
Any type of violence like that, that's about power and violence. Anytime you do something like that to another person, especially someone who is innocent and vulnerable, is disgusting.
It is.
And it has nothing to do with whether or not I believe in God or saying, or God saying it was okay. Because in the Bible, rape was rampant. And for a long time, no one said anything about it until, I know you're going to say, well, that was happening in the Old Testament.
No, that's not what
that happened in the Old Testament. I am who I am because of my life experiences, and I decide what's good and bad. I decide what's right and wrong. I know if I come up and I kick you and I start stomping on you all, that it's nothing is controlling me. There are people who do shit all over there are people who do things all over the world, and they don't give a damn about the law. So the law. Hold on, the law doesn't. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? The law doesn't, quote unquote, so much keep me in check. I do that, and it's not any pills that keep me in check. It's not a book that keeps me in check. It's not some,
no, it's the image of God that keeps you in check. It restrains your evil, man.
Trust me.
Here's something you said earlier, though.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because when I realized there was no God and there was no fulfillment for me with your God, when I was getting raped and when I would saw my mother getting her ass kicked and getting choked to death. And when you're that little and you've been, see, I think some of you all think that some of us didn't grow up in the church, but we have been. There was no God then. And it's not just about me. I've said this to even some of our local antis. Again, it's not about me. When I see the good work, of your God, when I see for other people, it has nothing to do with me. If you want to convince me, do something for somebody else. The other children and women and even elderly people who are getting sexually abused, who are being murdered, and you cannot tell me the thing that doesn't go through their mind is they don't say, oh, God, help me, or where is God? When your God stops that, then maybe I might say, okay, this quote-unquote God is for real. And please don't tell me, because I hear this all the time, that it's about sin and that's man. Your God created man, right? Isn't that what we're taught? Then where the hell was he, it, whatever, when I was getting attacked, when other children are getting attacked, when women are getting attacked? If someone were to break in your home or do something bad, you know what I'm saying, to violate you, whatever the violation is, where is he then? Where is he then? That's what I'm getting at. That's why I asked you, is it so much the law is stopping you from, you know what I'm saying?
And I think I'm going to say the same thing you're about to say.
Is it your religion?
Well,
see, your religion
let me answer.
Hold on, your religion is what guides you. I don't have that. I don't need that. I think people don't need that, and that's fine.
I further explain it's also that we're created in the image of God, and He has stamped His law upon us. Now, hold on.
He creates
you are using language that reflects that you do know there is a standard of justice outside of man-made opinion and laws. You said something like, when innocent children or innocent people are raped or beaten or abused, you would have to define for us the standard of innocence and guilt. There has to be an objective standard of innocence and guilt for you to even use language like that, unless you're just saying it's innocent based upon my arbitrary opinion. And then I could say, well, but I think innocence means like raping people. And you can say, no, innocence means like you've never done anything wrong.
Toby, we gotta go, man.
Because we have knowledge and fear of God, we can rightly, justly proclaim to the entire world that the person that raped you is an evil, wicked man, and all
we
you
would
have, frankly, ma'am, is your opinion.
And you can agree with us on that.
We would oppose him in the name of God because he was evil.
We have the word of God and we have the truth. We can boldly proclaim that is evil and wicked every time, even if their opinion is different than yours.
And we don't have to appeal to opinion, which is totally arbitrary. That is not that's not a standard that we can appeal to. Opinion is not a standard we can appeal to say something's right or wrong, because everyone's opinion is different about right or wrong. We all recognize that there is an absolute.
To you is not.
No, it's wrong. It's evil.
Wrong. We agree.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is rape being wrong is not an opinion. It's an absolute fixed standard. It's an absolute fixed standard that deviates from the fixed absolute standard standard of what is right. And that is what God has declared and stamped upon our conscience. And so when we see a deviation from that standard we know exists, we inherently recognize it's wrong. And because we deny God's existence, we're like, well, it's just opinion. But then if we take that thinking to its logical conclusion, we recognize that that's foolish because we recognize there's a fixed standard. And we keep appealing to the fixed standard when we say stuff like innocence, guilt, evil, wrong.
Rape is wrong every time.
You're appealing to a fixed standard that you're not willing to give voice to. You're not willing to admit exists. But you know it does because you're made in God's image. But you suppress that knowledge because of your sin.
God is not the reason why I know rape is wrong.
Where does the fixed standard come from? Whose is it? Where did it come from?
Man.
It's just opinion.
It's man.
It's just opinion.
It's man.
It's just opinion.
And God, but your God made man, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So then why doesn't your God protect people from getting raped?
Ma'am, I can't answer every act of evil that goes on. I can't pretend I know why evil exists or the ultimate reason, but I do know that there is no purposeless evil. Purposeless evil does not exist. In your worldview, evil does not actually exist, and everything is purposeless. But hold on. I believe,
and I don't believe that.
I believe that there is a purpose for evil. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I can see evil in my life perpetuated against me or a friend, and I'm like, why is this happening? This is evil. And years later, I can look back and say, God did a work in the midst of that evil, and He brought about my growth and my sanctification, my maturity. I've become more like Christ because I dealt with that evil in a Christ-like manner. Okay? And so I can look back and see that there was a purpose in this evil that was allowed to happen to me or to someone I loved.
See, I don't agree with that.
While at the moment, I didn't know what it was. You think that things that are evil, according to your own opinion, but not actually evil because there's no fixed standard, you think that they're just completely purposeless, and it actually doesn't matter.
Dude, you're either good or you're not. You can choose to be good. You can choose.
What
to
is
be
good?
evil.
What is good?
Come on. Come on. Okay, so rape. That's one of the
how do you know? How do you know?
What do you mean? How do I know?
How do you know that that's evil?
What do you mean? How do I know?
I'm asking you. How do you know?
For any man to just grab a woman?
No, I don't. I don't. I have a foundation.
How do I know?
How do you know?
What do you mean? How do I know?
Define. What's your standard of good to tell me? Hold on.
A child cannot tell you if a woman says she does not want to have sex with you.
That sounds like love your neighbor as yourself to me.
No, it does not.
Sure.
And you don't understand.
No. You're saying if you don't want it done to you, you should definitely know that it's wrong to do it to someone else.
Love your neighbor, love yourself.
Love your neighbor as yourself. I don't want somebody to do to me or I won't do to them what I don't want them to do to me.
I disagree with you on that and about evil being purposeless. You can decide and you know whether you have God in your life or any type of spiritual or religious foundation. You know, you learn that somewhere down the way. You know. I mean, come on. Okay, so you all say that, you don't believe in violence or whatever. You know whatever based on your religion. But somewhere down the line when you were a child, you knew, and it didn't have anything to do with God, you knew that if you pulled her hair and made her cry, you knew that was bad.
Yeah.
And God didn't tell you
because I'm made in God's image.
Like she knew when she was little that if she kicked you down there, that would hurt you.
Because I have the knowledge of the law of God written upon the fabric of my very being. I know, because I'm made in the image of God. Yes.
No.
That's why, man.
I mean, it's a good argument, but
I
that's
love
not.
you.
No.
My back
Yeah,
hurts,
we gotta go.
Let's go
I
ahead.
appreciate
That's
y'all
all
talking to
we'll
us.
Be here. Come on back.
Appreciate the conversation. See y'all. I appreciate the short conversation you and me had. I hope you really think about it. I hope you won't suppress your guilt anymore, but you would turn from your sin and find that freedom. It's real. I promise you it is. I've experienced it myself. Take care.
The pain that guides us, the strings that tie us, the coincidence that proves to us God's existence. Joy we misplace,